I've had a big response from people asking to see more of the John boat that you saw just a little of when we did the water pump impeller and all on the 20 horsepower Tohatsu engine. And I said in that video that, you know, if it was enough people ask or there was some interest in seeing the John boat, I would show it off to you. And guys, that's what we're gonna do in this video. I'm gonna take you out there to the boat shed and we're gonna get everything opened up and I'm gonna show you my little John boat. All right, so let's go take a look. All right, everybody. Well, here's the old boat sitting out here under the boat shed. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take you around the boat. I'm gonna open up all of these compartments that we have on this boat and give you a little tour of it and show you kind of what all this thing has. All right, guys, so you know, I started working on this boat back in 2011, if I remember correctly, and I had a couple different decks in it in the past, and you know, none of them really worked out good, and so I just sort of made up my mind after I got the Tohatsu engine to put on it that, you know, I was going to do one more deck in it and do it the best that I possibly could and put in all the bells and whistles that you could pack into a small John boat, okay? And I think I pretty well pulled that off, man. I got just a little bit of everything in here. In fact, my co-workers, some of my friends are kind of amazed sometimes at what all I've crammed into this small boat. And by the way, it's a 14-foot long, 36-inch wide John boat, okay? So it's not very big, but it's perfect for like just me to go out and go fishing. All right, so let's open up the compartments, and I'm gonna take you through them one at a time. All right, so I've got all of the bow compartments open here for you to see. And I'm gonna take you through here, all right? And I wanted to, you know, build this deck and make it to where you could open up all the compartments like this at one time and, you know, nothing would be impeded or anything. All right, so right up front here, this first compartment, you know, the door just raises up, and up here I've got a gap up here, and this is where my cricket baskets live. I usually keep 2 of them in here, and they just nest in there perfectly. All right, and then in this compartment I keep, you know, a few rod holders, some paper towels, you know, fishing line, sunblock, things like that. And then right here I keep tackle box, you know, these little adjustable compartments and stuff. These things are great. And you know, when I did this boat, I didn't want to have a tackle box per se. I was taking in and out of it, and so I wanted just, you know, a compartment that had these things in it. And I've got the same thing on the other side over there. So it was really just sort of a stroke of luck that, you know, I figured out that you could take these, you know, these little stowaway adjustable compartment, you know, tackle holders, and they would fit perfectly in a smaller size battery box. And that's what that is. That's just a black battery box that you can get, you know, from, you know, Kmart, Walmart, wherever, Cabela's, Bass Pro, any place that sells fishing tackle has battery boxes. And right here, this is the bigger battery box that I use for my storage. And 4 of these fit in this battery box perfectly. And you can see I just took my aluminum frame and just screwed it to it and then fastened them to each other with a little silicone in between, and man, that has just worked perfectly right there. All right, and then back here I wanted a nice big compartment that if I opened up both doors that I could put something in there like a lounge chair or whatever, and we've done that several times. They'll lay right in there, life jackets, all that will fit right in that big compartment. And you know, if you have a need to take, you know, a second person with you, what I do is I just open up one of these doors and they sit right here and they put their legs down in there, and it just works perfectly. All right, and then this compartment right here is where I put, you know, like my igloo cooler and stuff. It just sits in there where I put my drinks and my snacks or what have you. And then you also, the back side of the electrical components are there also. The, you know, the relays and the switches and all of that is right there. And there's also an interior light in it. Right? As you can see there, I also have an interior light, so that if it were to get dark or whatever, I can turn that on and see inside that compartment. And I also have other interior lights that are set up here. See it up there? Got interior lights, and there's also more back here where your feet and all go. Because this boat, you know, I packed in a aerator pump and a bilge pump on a manual switch and a float switch. It's got a horn, it's got running lights, interior lights, and it also has a power port where you can plug in your phone charger and all that. All right, so let's go around to the other side. So now we're on the opposite side. This is the port side of the boat for you Navy men. And instead of having a place here to put, you know, the cricket bucket on the other side, I cut off a battery tray lid. One of these battery boxes come with a lid, and I cut one of those lids off, so you got a shallow compartment here. And I just keep, you know, a pair of pliers, you know, a knife, some fishing tackle. I got a few dollar bills thrown in here in case, you know, you get off and, you know, you need a few bucks, you got it. Keep in this compartment a map of the lakes, all that stuff, sunblock, more rod holders, gloves, fishing lines, stuff like that. All right, and then right here's more fishing tackle. Some of my favorite stuff right there. Fishing tackle. More fishing stuff. And I tell you, I have just loved having this right here. You know, when you're sitting up here and you're fishing, it just works out great. You can just, you know, raise this door here up. Even when you've got the seat sitting up here, this will raise right up. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. All right, I got a cup holder up here that I can, you know, put my cold drink in. I got a depth finder on the boat right there. All right, and here's my homemade live well. So this boat did not have one when I bought it, and you know, for years just worked with a stringer or one of them baskets you throw over the side, and I swear you don't know how many times I lost fish because of that. So it's totally just a homemade rig. I took a Rubbermaid container and, you know, got it setting up in there, and I got it screwed to the frame, and I also have a hose going to it that pumps in from the aerator pump that's in the back of the boat, and it also has a plug in the bottom and a level in the side. And the only thing I really wish I had done different was that level in the side there should have been about 6 inches lower, okay? You fill it up to there and you take off in the boat and you got water splashing everywhere, even with the lid on it. So if I ever do anything to go in there and make any changes, that's going to get moved down. All right, so another big issue, of course, any of you who've ever had a John boat or been fishing in one, you know how it is, man. You're stepping on your fishing rods, you got tackle everywhere, and everything's in your way. And I wanted to get everything out of sight and in a home so you could not be tripping over anything like that. And even my fishing rods. Right now they are fishing stuff in this boat, but you don't see it. So let me get this opened up and show you where the rods live, my rod storage. All right, now you can see there I've got those two little rod storage doors opened up. If you look in there, I've got my pedestal for my seats in there. And I've also got a couple of smaller fishing rods and a couple of telescopic poles. I've even got a paddle stuck up in there. And listen, there's room in these rod compartments for a bigger fishing rod. I put several larger ones in here, you know, good medium size, like if you want to use for bass fishing or trolling for trout or whatever, they'll fit right in here. And then the lid just lets back down just like that. Here's the other rod storage. You can see I got a net in there in case I do hook something. In fact, I used it just the other day to get that bass in. There's the tubes I got in there. It was just some thin wall PVC, and I just, you know, fastened it in there to the frame, and I run my poles up in there, and listen, absolutely no problems with it. It fits right in there. I've had at least 3 good medium-sized fishing rods in each compartment with the net, with the paddle, with the pedestals, and the door shut without any problems. All right, you also notice that I have several of these mounts here on the deck, you know, for rod holders. And I just unscrew them and put them in one of my storage compartments in the front when I don't need them. And when I get out there and I'm fishing and I get lazy and want to lay my pole down, I'll just pull out one of my rod holders real quick and fasten it on. Something else that I incorporated into the boat was a a couple of cup holders back here so that, you know, when I'm out there and I'm riding down the lake or whatever, I'm just joyriding, I can put my canned drink or my bottle drink in there. All right, so let me show you how I use the seats and make them more versatile, okay? So I've got a couple of seats back here where me and a kid can ride, or if there's another adult riding or whatever, or a larger kid, put the larger kid or the adult up here. And if it's a small kid, I'll put them right there and keep my hands on them. But I wanted these seats movable. They're not fastened down or anything. And let me show you what I mean. All right, so if I take my son, kid or whatever fishing, there's a place back here for the kid to sit that's lower in the boat, and their legs are down inside this inside part. They can still get to the cup holders and all that. They can get to the cooler up here with the drinks. And up there is where I'd sit with a trolling motor. So when I was designing this deck and dreaming up how I wanted it to be, I wanted to make sure that when I was sitting up here in the pedestal seat, that I could still open up these compartments without any problem to get to my tackle or my bait or paper towels or whatever it was I may have needed at that moment. I wanted to be able to open these up. Same thing on the other side, it's the same shape, same height, it opens right up. In fact, I can open up both of them at the same time if I want to. All right, so one of the things that I probably get the most questions about, you know, at like the gas pump or the boat landing or whatever, from, you know, experienced fishermen who like a smaller boat like this, they ask me, where did you get this real short bow mount trolling motor? Well, I didn't get it anywhere really. This was the smallest transom mount trolling motor that you could get. You know, the little 30-incher that hooks on the back of your boat with a transom mount. And what I did was I took that transom mount off of it, pitched it, and took just the trolling motor itself, and then I got this older bow mount from a co-worker of mine. All right, but of course it was probably 8 inches too long. It was going to be hanging way off the side of the boat. And one of my things that I was insisting on was that when the trolling motor came in and laid down, that it wasn't sticking out the sides of the boat too much. So, like this, you can turn this thing around like this, let it down, and right now, if you'll notice, no part of this trolling motor is out past the edge of the boat. And that was very important to me, because the first trolling motor that I ever had on this boat, it was sticking out a little bit, and wouldn't you know it, I was out on the lake on a windy day, pulled up to the dock, trolling motor got knocked into the dock and it broke it. So I was adamant that I was not going to have another trolling motor with any part of it sticking over the side of the boat when it was stored. And that's what I managed to achieve with this. So you'll notice it's all bolted down and nothing sticks out past the edge of the boat. The boat may hit the dock, but the trolling motor's not. All right, so on this little shorter mount, what I ended up doing on this was I had to literally shorten every piece of it, okay? It all had to be cut, every arm, every piece had to be shortened the same amount for it to still work properly. And listen, you can let it off the side there, and that thing works great right there. You can sit in the fishing chair right here up front. You can reach that handle without any problem, steer that boat forward and reverse. I mean, you can put it in any little spot you want. It works fantastic. It's one of the best things about this boat is that little trolling motor mounted on a modified bow mount. All right, so let's look back here at the back of the boat. Now, you wouldn't think that I could have crammed anything else in here, but I managed to. So even this part right here where the pedestals and stuff are for the seats to live in, that raises up. And I've got another battery box back here that I just keep. All right, so right here is my onboard charger. And like I said, this is just some storage right here. In fact, I rarely use it. I can hardly ever even remember what's in there. I got a bungee strap. I got a few tools in there. I got some of that old PB blaster stuff. Toilet paper, you never know when you're gonna need that. A couple of spare running lights. I believe this is the spare spark plugs and a rope and all, extra rope for the boat engine. All that lives in there. I hardly ever even touch it. just slides back in there, right there. That's where it lives. All right, so here's the fuse panel for all the electrical, and there's a pipe right here that pipes the water up to the live well coming from the aerator pump. All right, so this onboard charger is right here. You can see it's charging right now. It's got the yellow light on. I just plugged it back in, and I just got the cord hanging here, and I take my drop cord and plug in when I get back from the lake. But that onboard charger right there, that's not a marine charger or anything like that. I just went down to the local parts store and I bought a $20 motorcycle battery charger and maintainer. And I wired it into the battery and took them little alligator clips off of it and cut them off and put on, you know, some good terminals to put onto the battery lugs, okay? And now when I come back from fishing, I just plug her in and leave it plugged in. And it charges the battery up and keeps it charged. All right. In here is where the aerator pump lives. And this is also my trash can, okay? I just found this is perfect to just, you know, throw my stuff in there. It's not gonna blow out. I hate that people ride up the lake in their boat and they're blowing stuff out. But there's my aerator pump. Here's all my plumbing that gets the water in and then back out. All right, so of course, there's the fuel tank and the battery box. Now the battery box is bolted down, you know, on a piece of wood to the floor. It's not going anywhere. It don't move. And right behind it, tucked back in here, you can't see it, is the light. See, that's the float switch. That's the bilge pump, okay? I ain't going out in the boat this little without a bilge pump. All right, everybody. Well, this concludes our tour of the little John boat that I've got, my little fishing boat. Had this thing a long time. I've had it a good 20 years, working on 21 years, and I've really enjoyed it through the years. And this deck and all I put on it, you know, it was just born out of necessity. I needed a good way of a good deck that would do everything I wanted to do and have all the bells and whistles that a bigger boat had. And you can see there, man, we've got it from aerator to bilge pumps, to cup holders, to lights, to trolling motors. It's even got a horn on it, okay? I can flip a switch back here from the driver's seat and blow the horn. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the John boat. And guys, I appreciate you watching my videos, and I hope you come back for the next one.